Hello everyone, welcome to Top Video Gems. I'm Jay, and this is the place where we talk about all of our favorite horror movies, as well as guilty pleasures, hidden gems, and even the not so good ones, because, let's face it, stinkers need love too. Today, we're going to be talking about Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2022. Let's get into it. It's about a group of hipsters who go and buy an abandoned small Texas town, hoping to create a utopia for themselves. But their plans are slashed when they realize that Leatherface himself is a resident in this town, and he has no plans on leaving or getting evicted. Directed by David Blue Garcia, and written by Chris Thomas Devlin, as well as Fede Alvarez and Rodo Sayaguez, who also gave us Evil Dead, the remake, and Don't Breathe. It's pretty cool. With a cast that includes Sarah Yarkin, you may know her from Happy Death Day to You actually, as well as relative newcomers to the horror genre, Elsie Fisher and Jacob Lattimore. So the film was originally planned for a theatrical release in 2021. However, it was announced that Netflix had picked up the film, so that's why they dropped it this year on Netflix. Before we jump in, just a precaution, this is a slight spoiler review, so if you haven't seen the film, definitely stop now, go watch it on Netflix, it is available, and come back and continue watching. You've been warned. Let's get into it. So right off the bat, the film looks and feels tonally different, with stylized opening credits, setting the stage for what feels like something new and different, which I appreciated. And much like the previous installment, or one of the previous installments, Texas Chainsaw 3D, the film revolves around a group of young adults inheriting and purchasing a piece of Texan land and going to retrieve it. So I thought that was an interesting connection as well. I'm a glass half full kind of guy, so let's just jump right into the pros, because there's a lot to talk about, good and negative. I immediately enjoyed the setting of the Texas small town, I'll give it that. I don't know, it reminded me of House of Wax the remake. It also had an abandoned town as well. Maybe it's a cozy thing, I don't know, I'm weird. I'll actually say that this Leatherface was a really memorable Leatherface. I thought that he felt more like himself than he did in most of the other sequels. I like that they brought back the aspect of his personality that he likes to wear makeup, as well as going as far as to put on a woman's face. I thought that was interesting, and not a lot of sequels have done that. I guess my only gripe would be, I wish I would have gotten more of Leatherface. I found myself wanting more of the character than what I got. So that could be taken as a negative, but it could be taken as a positive too. I think the way that Leatherface retrieves his mask in this film was really effective, and I was really surprised by how gruesome it was. However, the look of the mask didn't leave that much of an impression on me, not the same way that the others have in the series. The kills are gnarly in this one though. I'm talking top-notch blood and gore. The film may divide the people altogether, but I think the kills itself people might enjoy. I found myself questioning if the kills were going to be more gruesome or if they were going to cut away, but there were a couple kills that continued and kept going, and it surprised me, and it was nasty and terrible, just the way this series should be. The cast also did a solid job too. Some a little forgettable, I'm not going to name any names. However, my favorite was definitely Sarah Yarkin's character, which was a big surprise for me because she wasn't necessarily likable, but I still wanted her to survive. There was so many moments where I thought she was going to get axed, and she was a fighter. She was one of the more memorable characters that I enjoyed watching on screen. She stole every scene for me. And she's complex, damn it. She felt bad about kicking that lady out of her house, so she gets some points for that for me. I'm also the kind of person to pay attention to the score and look up the composer after seeing a movie. And I was really surprised to see that Colin Stetson, who previously worked on Hereditary, he was the one who composed this movie as well, and he did a phenomenal job, so just wanted to give him a shout out. He also plays the saxophone, which is pretty cool too. Okay, so now the negatives. The story. Let's just put it out there, it's pretty bad. If you think about it too much, that's when things start to fall apart. You're not meant to think about the story at all. The decision to ignore all the sequels isn't always a bad thing. It worked for David Gordon Green's Halloween, but this movie, it fails to connect the dots on almost anything related to the original movie. For example, the orphanage. We're never told how, Leatherface got to that point. And I really wish that we would have gotten a line to just explain how we got from point A to point B. The movie feels sometimes like a random one-off story, kind of like the last movie, Leatherface. It just doesn't feel connected to anything. I was also really disappointed to see how poorly they used Sally Hardesty in this film. I kind of expected them to not respect her legacy the same way that maybe David Gordon Green's Halloween respected Laurie Strode. But not only was the character recast, if you cut all of her scenes altogether, Sally's scenes, the movie would be just fine. I just think that she should have been left out altogether, I think.
I'm the one who got away, and I'm here to make sure you don't, motherfucker.
Oh, there's also a after credit scene that I did not see coming. It sets up the return of the original house, which is pretty exciting. Maybe they bring back the family in some capacity. That's something that was missing in this film, was the family aspect. That's a staple for the series, and I think the newer movies are shying away from it when they should be, I think, bringing them back and finding new ways to explore that. If Netflix decides to greenlight, I would definitely like to see the family return. Absolutely. But the movie wasn't without controversy. I was reading up on the film. They had to replace the director only a few weeks into production, which sounds like a nightmare. So let's just hope that history does not repeat itself if they decide to make another movie. So final thoughts. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is a fun 80-minute bloodbath with fun kills, cool set pieces, but like most of the sequels, this fails to elevate the story in new ways and completely stomps on the legacy of our final girl, Sally. I mean, can you even imagine if Laurie got this kind of treatment in Halloween 2018? I mean, seriously.
I shudder to think.
All in all, popcorn fun, but not to be taken too seriously. Works as a slasher on its own, but when you look at it as a Texas Chainsaw movie, that's when it starts to fall apart. Well, that's my review for the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. What did you guys think of the new movie? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Let me know down in the comments below. If you can, leave a thumbs up and subscribe for more content like this. Again, I'm Jay, and this is Top Video Gems. Happy Halloweeny!